That's kid.
Guiltily, that is my daughter.
What Ryan Reynolds forced his daughter to do on Deadpool is one of the most abhorrent things I have ever heard of.
There is actually no difference between Ryan Reynolds in Deadpool and Ryan Reynolds. That's the reason why the character is successful. It's actually him. And what better way to become successful than really just playing?
Ryan Reynolds has always worn the mask of Hollywood's funny guy, cracking jokes, playing the charming anti-hero, and winning people over with a smirk. But behind that charming grin, there's a whole different story unraveling, and it's got fans disturbed, disgusted, and downright heartbroken. Because when the curtain got pulled back on his relationship with his daughter Inez, fans couldn't ignore what they saw. Suddenly, that quirky humor didn't seem so harmless. Suddenly, Ryan's jokes about his daughter weren't funny, they were creepy. And now, actor and director Justin Baldoni is stepping up, shining a harsh spotlight on Ryan's behind-the-scenes behavior and exposing what he believes is an ugly, narcissistic pattern. So, what really happened between Ryan Reynolds and his daughter? And why is the internet calling him a weirdo? Let's break it all down.
This is what really bugs me about this is narcissistic. He wanted him to feel alone and like he had no one on his side.
It all started with what should have been a sweet moment. Ryan casting his daughter Inez in Deadpool and Wolverine as Kidpool. Cute, right? Except, no. Fans were expecting adorable behind-the-scenes moments. Instead, they got something chilling. In a Facebook post, Ryan uploaded a photo with Inez and wrote, "Only co-star I argued with." Most people think Kidpool is the dirtiest, but she's also pretty good at backtalk and never taking out the trash. Dirtiest about his own child? The internet did a double take. Why would a father use a word like dirty to describe his daughter publicly? People were disgusted. This wasn't loving or proud. It was condescending and just plain gross. But honestly, some fans weren't even surprised because Ryan's behavior toward the women in his life has always raised eyebrows. Just look at how he talks about Blake Lively, his wife. Back in August 2019, he shared a heartfelt post. At least that's what people thought until they read the end. He was showing off a painting Blake had gifted him, one tied deeply to his childhood and full of personal Easter eggs. It was clearly meaningful, but the caption, it ended with, "If there's ever a fire, I'm grabbing this first. I'll come back for Blake." What? He literally said he'd save a painting before his wife in a fire? That's not dark humor, that's disturbing. And it didn't stop there. During a 2019 appearance on The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon, Ryan was asked about Blake's then-secret pregnancy. Instead of showing pride or excitement, he took a jab at her again.
Last time we talked in this program, it was, we were talking about Detective Pikachu.
Yeah.
And I said to you, I go, oh my gosh. I go, Ryan, what's up, man? What's going on? And you said to me, not much.
Not much, no.
No,
Yeah.
not much. It was great. We had a
Wasn't a
fun
ton
talk.
going on, yeah.
It was really fun. And then after that, you went right to the premiere.
Yep.
And I got a Google alert saying that Blake is pregnant.
Oh.
Nobody was more surprised than me, Jimmy, Ryan said. I thought the fact that I was wearing a denim vest would be all the rage. But then Blake shows up, uninvited might I add, and I thought she was just pounding beer. But it turns out she's like 6 months pregnant. The audience laughed, but fans? They cringed. It didn't sound like a husband celebrating fatherhood. It sounded like a bitter man who hated being upstaged by his wife's pregnancy.
Invest, it wasn't.
No, I thought that was going to be the lead story, but that was going to be the big Google.
Yeah, bitter is the right word. The only woman Ryan seems to praise is his mother. She even joined him in a sketch where he dragged Blake's co-star Brandon Sleenar from It Ends With Us. But that was a disaster too. Fans noticed. His mom? Totally fine with his sarcasm. But his wife? Constant target.
Not every day the husband gets to interview his wife's love interest in a film. It's kind of crazy. You know?
I don't remember seeing this on the schedule.
Dive in, shall we?
Well, it's not every day the mother-in-law of the leading lady gets to interview the love interest, and the man trying to replace my sweet little gummy bear, Ryan. Let's dive in, shall we?
Can we not dive in?
I was expecting not to like him.
No, yeah.
But he is so nice.
The nicest guy.
So
Everyone says
funny,
you're nice, but
charming,
he's-
kind.
And when it comes to men? Oh, Ryan rolls out the red carpet. Hugh Jackman, for example, gets nothing but glowing praise. So let's recap. He disrespects Blake. He makes jokes about his own daughter. And now, his behavior with little Inez is raising serious questions.
He's
And also-
downplaying the hell out of that. Basically, everyone was done for the day. Like, this guy came over and I said, I think I could have made that better. I learned more in my short stint working with this man on that movie than anything else in my entire career.
It's bad enough that Ryan mocked his daughter in a Facebook caption. But what really broke people was the line he had her say in Deadpool and Wolverine.
Fight isn't with you.
When I want your opinion, I'll take Wolverine's out of your mouth.
That's kid.
Guiltily, that is my daughter.
Apparently, Inez's line in the movie was so vulgar, she didn't even want to say it. She's 7, a 7-year-old in a movie being asked to say something filthy. Whatever happened to protecting your child? But Ryan didn't even blink.
Father of the year over here for allowing her to say such language, which, to her credit, she really didn't want to say, and then came back later and said, I want to say it now, when I started looking at other people to play.
Instead of understanding how uncomfortable she felt, or even considering a rewrite, Ryan floated the idea of replacing her. Just like that. He told his daughter, his own flesh and blood, that maybe someone else would do the job better. Imagine being 7 years old and hearing that from your dad, while just trying to spend time with him. The heartbreak, the emotional damage. Fans were furious.
Yeah, so they're saying that she didn't really want to say it. And then Ryan said that, you know, if you don't want to say this in this film, Daddy's gonna find someone else who will.
And it doesn't end there. Ryan didn't just ask Inez to say that vulgar line once or even 10 times. He made her practice it 70 to 500 times.
See, when a narcissist, when they're trying to manipulate you, and you can see the starting young here in this situation.
And don't forget this part.
Ryan, to our discredit, we made Nezzy do I'm not you 70 to 500 versions of that line.
I'm gonna pay for that later.
Blake Lively there as Lady Pool, Lady
Matthew
Deadpool.
McConaughey as Cowboy.
Yes, you read that right. 70 to 500 times. Who does that to a child? Fans were livid. One commenter wrote, "Whoa, I am speechless. 70 to 500 times? That's child abuse. Nope. This is beyond disgusting. I feel sick." Another said, "This is why I never got into Deadpool. It's degrading and disgusting. And now this? It's the icing on the cake." Even at the premiere, Ryan made a bizarre comment about Inez's role. He told the crowd, "I hope that if I'm lucky, this will be the most traumatic moment of your wondrous life." What? Who talks like that to their kid? And honestly, Ryan's history of narcissism didn't come out of nowhere. Scarlett Johansson, his ex-wife, called it out years ago. She told Cosmopolitan in 2016, "The logistics of being with another actor are challenging, especially when one person is more successful." That also proves challenging. Back in 2017, he admitted, "Our father was tough. I think the anxiety might have started there." But still, no one expected him to treat his own daughter like this. And the worst part? Disney knew. They knew about the scene. They saw what Ryan was making Inez say, but did they remove it? Nope.
They stem from the fact that his father was always screaming. And we now know that Ryan's also a screamer, so he basically just became his dad. So that whole little scene about like his father and unresolved issues, it's looking like you might have just become who you allege your father was.
The only joke Disney cut from Deadpool was one about not being able to afford another X-Man. That's what they found inappropriate, not a little girl being forced to say something vile. Make it make sense. And now, Ryan's turning the tables, trying to paint Justin Baldoni as the bad guy. He even filed a motion to dismiss Justin's $400 million defamation lawsuit.
Breaking news, Ryan Reynolds files to dismiss from Justin Baldoni lawsuit. All right, what does this mean? Let's break it down. Has he won his case against Justin Baldoni? No. Have Blake or Ryan been dismissed from the lawsuit? No. This is all very standard, right? The New York Times has filed a motion to dismiss. Leslie Sloan, Blake's publicist, has filed a motion to dismiss.
Justin accused Ryan of privately calling him a predator and trying to get his agency, WME, to drop him. But Ryan's lawyers responded by saying, get this, Ryan genuinely believes Justin is a predator. So apparently, that makes it okay? They went on to say that Blake Lively had privately accused Baldoni of mistreatment and retaliation, and that Justin had spoken openly about pushing boundaries. And just when you think it couldn't get messier, Ryan's legal team played the free speech card. Mr. Reynolds has a First Amendment right to express his opinion, they said. But Justin, he's not backing down.
But the interesting thing is Ryan Reynolds is trying to distance him. He's trying to get dismissed from this lawsuit, but I mean, he's basically like, Judge, let me out. Leave my wife in it, but let me out, which is, I don't know, it's just kind of funny.
His lawyer, Brian Friedman, blasted Ryan, saying, Mr. Reynolds was a key player in defaming Justin across Hollywood, trying to destroy his career however possible. He added, "Mr. Reynolds lit a match. Now he wants to run from the flames? It won't work." And fans agree. They've started to realize maybe Justin was right all along, because guess who confirmed that Ryan got Justin dropped from WME? WME itself.
Where Ari Emanuel basically said that Justin Baldoni was fired from WME and that he did this in support of Blake and Ryan Reynolds. Ari Emanuel said he is ride or die for Blake and Ryan. He also makes fun of Justin Baldoni's name by calling him Justin Baloney.
People are starting to say it out loud. Ryan Reynolds might be the root of this entire disaster.
Ryan, I would say, in my opinion, is plausibly the most guilty party of this entire thing, okay? He has just been publicly humiliating Justin Baldoni as soon as he could, as many times as he could, and using as many A-list actors as he could.
So what now? Is Ryan Reynolds just a narcissist who used his daughter to serve his own image? Are there darker secrets behind those red carpets and quirky Instagram posts? And how will fans react when they find out the truth? Let us know what you think in the comments below. But here's the twist. Despite all of this chaos, Ryan is still out here making sketch comedy appearances, cracking jokes, smiling for cameras like nothing's wrong, like he's not at the center of one of the most disturbing Hollywood dramas involving his own child. But Justin Baldoni? He's refusing to be silenced. His team is fighting tooth and nail. They're not just fighting for his career, they're fighting to expose the full truth about Ryan Reynolds. Because behind all the glitz and glam behind the superhero costume, they believe there's a man who's willing to throw anyone under the bus, including his own daughter, to protect his image. Let that sink in. A father who allegedly forced his child to repeat an inappropriate line hundreds of times. A husband who constantly belittles his wife in interviews and captions. A man who's being accused of launching a personal smear campaign just to destroy another actor's career. This isn't just gossip anymore. This is a full-blown scandal. And let's be real, fans are starting to ask the hard questions. How did Disney approve this? Why was no one protecting Inez? And how many people on that film set just stood by and watched it all happen? One person online said, "Where were the producers? Where were the child advocates? Why is no one being held accountable?" And they have a point, because if Justin Baldoni hadn't spoken out, would any of this have come to light? Let's not forget, Justin's been a huge advocate for positive masculinity, mental health, and protecting children in Hollywood. So when he says Ryan crossed a line, people are listening, and it's not just about one movie scene, it's the pattern, the repeated jabs at Blake, the weird comments about Inez, the toxic energy around anyone who challenges his ego. We're talking about a man who once said with a straight face that he hopes filming a movie with her will be the most traumatic experience of his daughter's life. Who says that? Who even thinks that way? And now that Justin's dragging it all into the light, Ryan's scrambling. He wants the lawsuit thrown out. He wants the conversation shut down. But guess what? It's too late. The public is watching. The fans are connecting the dots. And it's not looking good. Ryan's own legal defense is basically, well, he really believed it, so it's not defamation. But if we use that logic, anyone can say anything as long as they believe it's true. That's not just dangerous, it's reckless. And Blake, she hasn't said a word. Which honestly makes this even more chilling, because if this is how Ryan acts publicly, how bad are things behind closed doors? Some fans are speculating that Blake might be stuck in a PR trap, forced to smile and keep the peace while quietly enduring the narcissistic jabs and controlling behavior. After all, she's built her brand on elegance and family values. Saying something publicly would blow the whole thing up, but the silence, it's loud. And now with WME caught in the middle, openly admitting that they fired Justin because of Ryan, Hollywood's biggest agencies are being exposed too. People are starting to realize how deep this goes, how much power certain celebrities really hold, and how easily that power can be abused. Because let's be honest, if this had been any other actor, a less famous one, they would have been canceled in a heartbeat. But Ryan, he's protected. He's got the Disney deal, the Marvel machine, the media charm, the sketch comedy appearances. But no amount of charisma can cover up what fans are seeing now, and the heartbreak is real. Especially when it comes to Inez. This isn't just about being a tough dad or a dark humor kind of guy. This is about a little girl who was used for content, for marketing, for a punchline. who wanted to spend time with her dad and got told she might be replaced if she didn't deliver a disgusting line in a superhero movie. She didn't sign up for this. She's just a kid. And the fans? They're not letting it go. One comment went viral saying, "If this was my daughter, there's no way I'd let her near a set like that. I don't care how famous I am. Kids need to be protected." Another added, "I can't look at Ryan the same anymore. He really made his daughter practice that kind of line hundreds of times. What kind of monster does that?" And the worst part? He doesn't seem to feel bad about it. There's no apology, no remorse, just more jokes, more PR appearances, more deflection. Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni is fighting for his life, fighting to save his reputation, fighting to expose what he says is a deeply toxic, narcissistic environment, one that Ryan has built around himself for years. And the lawsuit, it's still active. The $400 million defamation case isn't going away. In fact, it might just crack Hollywood wide open, because if Justin and his team can prove that Ryan used his influence to destroy his career, then what else has Ryan Reynolds been doing behind closed doors? How many other people has he stepped on, silenced, manipulated? Because it sure looks like the funny guy mask is slipping, and behind it is someone a lot scarier. So yeah, Ryan might have been the king of quirky one-liners, the guy in the red suit cracking wise while blowing things up, the social media sweetheart married to America's darling Blake Lively. But now, he's the man who allegedly crushed his daughter's spirit on a movie set, the man who fans believe would humiliate his wife for a punchline, the man who's being accused of launching a smear campaign to silence another actor who dared to call him out. And the public? They're watching, they're questioning, and they're no longer laughing, because this time, it's not a joke. It's not a joke.